Welcome to Marilyn Hawes, who again is in a good mood. I don't like this. I like you in a bad mood because
Oh
you.
no, don't worry. I'll be in a bad. Won't be long before I get in a bad mood. I mean, I've just only recovered from being in a very bad mood on the Mike Graham show.
Oh,
Not with
right.
Mike, but what I was
Why? What
talking
was
about.
going? What was going wrong there?
Oh, the scumbag that raped the elderly man
Yeah, yeah.
in the church. So I mean that. But I did make out. I did say you don't even know that he's gay because they'll do that if they've got in that way of mind. They'll get their rocks off with anyone. So, but I said you can't have a scorecard on this. I mean, for me, the watershed moment was when little Rhiannon White was killed. They're all awful. Every one of the crimes is awful, and there's no appetite to stop it. So we keep
And
pushing.
exactly, it's happening every day of the week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not according to my son, it isn't.
Oh,
No, I spoke to him yesterday and he said, "Oh, don't be ridiculous." And I said, "I'm telling you, Mike, every single day it's somewhere." And then my daughter-in-law, because she's a completely opposite inclination with the politics, she actually said, "Well, my company has apparently employed a what was illegal, now legal migrant. And then we've employed him because, well, he's just come out of prison on 10 years of for a rape conviction." Oh, I said, that's gonna work out well then, isn't it?
yeah. When
You,
does he
you
make
don't,
his
they don't
first
change.
house call?
They don't change. But this will be, I said DEI, I have now reconfirmed it as DIE.
Go on.
DIE.
Oh,
Diversity, inclusion, equality. Do it
yes.
the other way around. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. And they were saying, we were talking about prisons and all of that and all the empty spaces and how they can't get prison officers. No, 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 no. They can, but they don't have enough black ones applying. It'll be all to do with DEI.
Well, it's a difficult world at the moment, and don't
It's an
forget
awful
these
world.
innocents have been brought up being brainwashed from day one
Mm.
through primary, secondary. We keep saying this, but it's true. Then uni, and then if they go to the average employer, if the one exists, they have got a DEI, DIE department. And so it
Unfortunately.
goes on. And honestly, it's going to be, they reckon at 40 to 45, you sort of gradually wake up to the reality of the world. Maybe it's
I
because you sit back and think, oh, I'm halfway
no,
there.
I think I actually think there's some truth in that because I read somewhere about 2 years ago that where people sort of more or less grew up when they were 20, 21, they don't really come on board now till they're about 30. So I think, in a way, 40 is the new 30. Do you know what I mean? And I think the way they look at stuff until life really hits them. And I mean, my daughter-in-law actually did actually say to my son, "I think your mum knows more about the world than you, Mike."
Oh, there you go. Listen, how about this one? We'll kick off. But we must warn the viewers we've got two bombshells, really live ones. Stand back, get your crash helmets on. But before we hit the two bombshells, oh dear, where do we start? I'm going to read it because it says better than anybody what is going on. Picture yourself in Britain today and in the future. And a young woman could stand in a room in her family home, and I've got to interject now and say, this is Labour Party policy that is going to come and be enacted. This young lady, veiled, without a single word out of her mouth, an officiant she has never met before, can decide that a gesture she makes, or perhaps does not make, means I do. Now, this is the future of a marriage ceremony, a la the law, not in Great Britain, not from the Common Prayer Book, not from the Christian Bible. This is Sharia law in action, and it's going to come because of our godless government. Under new government proposal, silence would be enough. She would leave that room legally married. Now that's available to everybody very, very shortly. Not a
So
scare
what?
story, it's fact.
Oh,
But
oh,
what
it's happening. I said today on Mike Graham, I said 10 years from now, by the time Labour have decided that they're going to get more and more of these people in, and more of these people will want Sharia law, and they will want, they will be voting for Labour. It won't be 10 years from now, you won't probably even have an election. You will be a commie state, and we're halfway there to it anyway. But this is it is just hideous. These little kids, it's awful. What does a child have to do then? Well, presumably, whatever that child does will be taken as confirmation of I do then, whatever the child did.
I will tell you, I will read it.
All
The
right.
officiant, not the vicar, whoever decides to be officiant, and witnesses, as long as they share an understanding. That's the phrase. Everybody in the room has got to share an understanding. What a load of gobbledygook. Now
And
that
they take
is
a vote
being
on this, do they?
discussed now.
Do they take a vote on it?
No, Andy Burnham didn't get where he is having a vote, did he? Well, he got
Ooh,
one, but that
very
was,
true. He had a good parachute, though, didn't he?
yes.
But I mean, what a load of bilge. That's absolutely awful. I mean, it will be in this country. We've got the cousin marriages in, and there are something like over 100 Sharia courts. So there will be all sorts of marriages going on that shouldn't be happening in this country. It's absolutely appalling.
It is happening now in one third of the mosques.
Yeah, yeah. I've no. How many mosques I read the other day? It's over 1,000 mosques, isn't it, in the
Three
country now?
teenage girls are getting married, and it is allowed to go on by the authorities
It's terrible.
because we don't want to upset them. Well, I say we, the Labour government doesn't because he gets its votes.
But the police should be stepping in. It is against our laws.
Yes, exactly that.
I mean, it's paedophilia.
It
That's what it
is.
is.
But under whatever name, it's paedophilia. Right. That was a bombshell. No, it wasn't, not compared with what we got. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what we've got. People are griping, and have done for donkey's years, about their GP. Now, GP used to be family, used to come out at all hours. Oh, my little Johnny's running a temperature. He was out there, 2 o'clock in the morning. Golly gosh. And he was a friend of the family,
Yeah.
knew about the family, knew
Hmm.
about the history, which is so important
Hmm. That's
in
right.
diagnosis.
Hmm.
And it was great. And you could go along to the surgery. Yes, you had to put up with sitting in a room, but you still get that with
Yeah.
many other people and waiting maybe for an hour. But
You came out with something worse than you went in with.
no doubt you did. But at least you got seen
Oh
at
yeah.
the same day.
Mm.
Now, what's happened now? Well, if you're very lucky, you can get a 5 minute telephone call.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, any decent doctor will tell you, I want to look in the eyes of the person. I want to see the pallor of the skin.
Absolutely
I
right.
want to find out what they really are consulting me about because
Hmm.
a lot of people come in with a sore throat, but maybe a marriage problem. Maybe
Hmm.
it's a pain that they should have confided in the doctor months ago. It could be anything.
You're
But
looking at
that's the
me.
skill of being a doctor.
You're looking at me. That's what I did. I was going all the time with one thing or another. And then, oh, I've been tested for this, tested for that. Did I have leukemia? Blah, blah, blah. And then one day he just looked at me and said, Are you happy? And I just burst into tears. He said, Oh, would have been helpful if you'd said that 3 months ago.
Yes, but at least he got there.
He got it. He got it. That's exactly right.
There we are. I mean, there's online, there's Zoom conferences, but as we know with Zoom, you can cover up a multitude of sins.
So you
You
can.
cannot see the real person.
What I like is what I don't like actually is when they ask you to send a photograph.
Oh my God.
Depending on what you're going to the doctor
Oh,
for,
yes, that's
I think a lot
interesting.
of photographs would be considered indecent. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. But what I also object to now is that we've got this sort of system where you can speak to the lovely digital Jackie who will decide whether you need a consultation or not. But we can now actually go into the surgery and say, have you got which I did yesterday. But sometimes you don't, there's people sat there and you have to say why you want to be fast tracked. And it's like you're whispering through the glass. And you think, well, you don't want all your medical details spelled out around for people. And it's just not, no, I, d- I don't understand why they need to know what you're going there for, because the people on the desk, the receptionists aren't qualified, are they?
No, but you've got the magnificent invented word that causes more deaths than anything else now. It's called triage.
Oh, don't.
And
Yes.
then,
Yes.
oh, well, you can't see the doctor unless I've triaged you.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
No, no. Have you been triaged?
I'm going to
It's a
break
bit
it.
less. They say it with the same way that when you're in hospital. Have you opened your bowels?
Yes, that's it. Oh, those are the days.
Oh,
No,
God.
sister. I got
Yes.
matron to come and see you then. That
But
was
I
enough
do
to open
think,
the
I
mouth.
think in hospitals, I think we need the matron back, not just as an admin person, but someone going around the wards and picking up the sloppiness and the laziness that is in some of the assistants in the wards. And again, it's a lottery.
There's a lot of it about, lots of lottery, lots of triage. Let me tell you what happens in España. And we're going to compare the NHS with the Seguridad Social in Spain. And they have, to a certain extent, got the same blight, the same problems, because it's state run, basically. And you get the minimum because the state will give you the minimum. But this is the minimum. And each region in Spain, each autonomous region,
Yes.
has got its own little laws. And
Mm.
Andalusia, which is roughly the size of Britain anyway, is a big area. That's where we are in the south of Andalusia. They've just issued the following edict. Thou shalt be seen for surgery 180 days, 6 months. There you go. You've got to be seen in 6 months. Now, a lot of this is very similar to Britain, but there's one
Yes.
basic difference. If it's a common operation, well, the odd thing, yeah, I suppose they do more hips than anything else everywhere these days. It's 120 days, 4 months. You've got
Performance.
to have your procedure. That's better than the NHS. The first specialist consultations have got to be within 60 days, couple of months. A scan within 30 days. It's got to be done. Now, I look at the NHS site and it's very similar, but there's
Yeah.
one difference. Before I point out the difference, I'm going to read you something now again. And it says that patients in Andalusia who pass these dates have the right immediately to go to private medicine and get the operation done that way.
Right. Well, that's the same as here.
In one sense, it is, but in another sense, it isn't. We're coming to that. Hold your breath, folks. So that is a good shake-up to make sure that the NHS Seguridad Social is ready to really help. Then you read what the NHS offer, and it's very similar until you read the small print. And that one word, we're on basic words now, is target. It's
Oh,
not thou shalt, it's a target.
yes.
One of the targets we all know is 4 hours in A&E. Well, that's a joke,
Mm.
but it's a target. That's how they get away with jokes.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
why it can be 2 years and sometimes longer to get your new hip, your
Yeah.
new hip,
Yeah.
knee,
Yeah.
etc. Unless you hinted at it, you actually say, right, I want to exercise my right in Britain, and you can do, and ask the Welsh near who are living near the English border. They're doing it all the time. The Welsh NHS is a basket
It's
case,
dreadful. It's
and they
dreadful.
go across the border from Mid Wales to Shrewsbury, where there's a good orthopaedic hospital, all the time because it's less waiting there
Hmm.
and better treatment. So, yes, you can elect, but do you bother? Because the paperwork and the aggravation that you're going to go through, most people don't. And the NHS know that. Oh, I'll wait. I can't be bothered going to a hospital 200 miles away. You have the option to go to another NHS hospital or go private if there's a local booper, as an example. But people, they're in pain, they want sorting out. But when you're in pain, and a lot of times you're not thinking
Yeah,
straight.
exactly right. But it is a lottery over here. I mean, I would say we are very lucky here in Bedfordshire. Now, I really, yeah, I do think we are fortunate. I think although I've moaned about our GP surgery, I think they have got their act together now. They like you to do it online and speak to the lovely digital Jackie. But I went along yesterday and I was seen yesterday, and that's unusual. I mean, Roger with all his Parkinson's and everything, he's had extremely good treatment, a really good, and I don't honestly think it could have been done any quicker privately. He's and now whether he's just a lucky one in the pack, I don't know. But I can't fault it where we are now in another county, in another NHS trust. It could well be very, very different.
Yeah,
But
it is.
Bedfordshire is
You
small.
don't.
Yeah, but we are small. It's a small county, and I think that
Yeah, that's
helps.
it. It makes a difference. If you look
It
at the
makes a
figures out
difference,
of the big
definitely,
urban
definitely.
areas, they're frightening.
Yeah, I mean,
It does
yes,
depend where you live.
yeah, it does. I mean, if you got like Hertfordshire is a huge county, which we are on the border of, and it's awful when we live there. But no, this we are fortunate. So I think if you get the smaller counties, you are uh, probably better off.
Yeah,
But
the other feature of that, of course, they're usually nicer areas, and quite
mm,
often doctors want to get away from the stress and do move to these
mm,
nicer areas, and
mm.
you gain by that.
Yes, no, yeah, no, you do. I'm not sure they'd be so pleased if they live around Bedford and Luton, which are, look a bit like Delhi.
The oasis is, yeah, no, they're not. They're quite the opposite. Okay, that's the first bombshell. There is a major difference. Same, but a major. The countries do get together. They do compare. That's why they are the same. But it's
Mm,
the actual outcome of the
mm,
operation and how you're treated.
mm.
That's the important thing.
Yes.
Okay, now the real bombshell. Back to the GP and how it's changed beyond measure from the days of family to where we are now, because it's a business.
Yes.
People must accept it's a business. So what happens is a group of doctors get together. Oh, we'll set up a GP surgery in this town, this district. And they call in, would you believe, the Doctors Union, the famous Doctors Union that has got magnificent pay rises for the junior doctors.
Mm,
Immediately they get psychology going and call them resident doctors. They're still junior doctors learning the trade.
mm.
The BMA are notorious for being even worse than the
Yeah.
train drivers' unions,
Yeah.
and they're called in immediately to negotiate with the government department. So they're not going to take prisoners, are they? They're going to support the doctors like mad. Oh, this practice needs much, much more money than perhaps it does. Okay, so they're brought in, the doctors are brought in, everybody gets together. There's your lump of money for the next year. And out that money has got to be paid secretaries, physiotherapists, if you're lucky
Hmm.
enough to get one attached to your GP surgery,
Yeah. We have.
special diabetes nurses,
We have that as well.
yeah, you name it, the doctor's got to pay for it.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, the doctors between them divvy up what's over, and it's theirs.
All right.
Interesting.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
what's wrong with that then? Well, in theory it works, in practice it doesn't, because if you've got a particularly good doctor who is more of a businessman than a carer, dare I say, you're going to finish up with doctors on £250,000 a year, some of them £300,000 a year, because the divvy is divvied out, and thank you very much, good night. And they're working 3 and a bit days a week, even less, some of them. And the other 2 days, maybe they open a Botox clinic and they're soon on £500,000 a year. That happens, not with every surgery. There's some smashing GP surgeries and great GPs. But I'm telling you, the system is tempting you not to be that way. So if you're cutting down on the
Mm.
services you are offering, and you have to do that to gain a salary of that amount, that's not fair on your patients, is it? The whole thing is wrong.
No, it is wrong, and I think the whole lottery idea of it is wrong as well. It should be the same across the country, But I would have thought that any profit that is made, that should be going back into looking at the infrastructure of the actual surgery. Do we need new this, new that, new chairs, not just putting it in your back pocket so you can go off on your yacht. you know I mean, because if you don't reinvest, because it is like a business, you don't reinvest in your structure, then when it falls apart, what happens?
As we have mentioned on numerous occasions, the NHS is not a god. Yes, it is. It's become a god. And you can't do anything. You can't mention the NHS. It's rather like you can't mention any other
Yeah, you see,
subject.
I do think it is a lottery about the trusts, the way the NHS trusts are run. When I was talking to Emma Webber on Sunday, Barnaby Webber, who was so brutally murdered, she was saying, because I said she used to be a communications manager for the NHS, and I said, do you feel when Callacane murdered your son, and Grace O'Malley and the other guy, Ian Scott, did you feel very bitter about the NHS because the very organisation that employed you literally killed your son
Mhm.
by the terrible, terrible treatment? And she mentioned the same thing. She said, "Well, see, where I live, Somerset, and I work for the NHS Trust in Somerset, it's okay. But what's being unravelled by the NHS in the two trusts that dealt with Callacane is utterly outrageous. The lies, the deceit, everything, the lack of care. And it shouldn't be a lot. They should break up the trusts, I think, so that everybody gets the equal. You can't have it as a lottery. It's not right. And
No,
it should be run. And that's the problem. That is the problem.
let me tell you what other countries have done, and we've got to kill the god, small g, that the NHS has become. It is not our salvation in any way, means. It's a way of Liverpool pathways and getting your bed free for the next victim in, regretfully, a number of hospitals.
Mm,
Okay, we got proof of that, by the way. Let's say Spain is a good example. They don't get everything right, but with medicine, they get a lot right.
mm,
40%, 40% of people are on private insurance in Spain.
right.
Not through their employers, because it's a bigger percentage in certain other countries than that, but it's private insurance that doesn't cost a fortune.
Mm, mm. Yeah. You
Uh,
see, yeah, my friends have just come back from The Hague. She was saying over there, you can have the whole wham if you want. You can say, I only want to insure if I have a consultation regarding whatever. I can pay for that one. I can pay just for the prescriptions. You can cherry pick what you want to
exactly
pay
that,
for.
yeah. And you can decide about what is called in the business co-payments.
Yes,
In other
yes, that's
words, you
right.
may say, I'll pay
Yes.
30%.
That's right. That's right.
And
That's how it works over there. And she said it works very well.
it does
And
work very
I'm
well
sure it does. I don't
because
have
you
anybody.
bring in competition in, and
Exactly.
therefore that
Exactly.
ups the stakes with the state provider.
Competition. Go and wash your mouth out, Rodney. Competition. We can't have that. We have equality, inclusivity. We
And
die.
and communism, which you summed up very nicely there.
Well, that's where we're heading for. We're halfway there.
Yeah. Okay, the
So,
real bombshell. Go on, I've saved this till the last one. And that's something that's not even touched the British press, but we will announce it. There's been a threat of second wave in Ceuta in North Africa for several days. Well, let me tell you, this weekend it happened. Nobody reported it, but
no.
did it happen? Yes, it did. There were thousands queuing up, young gentlemen at the border to get into Ceuta. And what happened next was instrumental. And I'm going to ask you to think three things in a minute. The Guardia Civil, the Policía Nacional of Spain, went over there in numbers into the city, Spanish city. The Moroccan authorities were there in numbers, army, etc., in Morocco, dispersing the illegal immigrants. In other words, Spain and Morocco got together and said, this is wrong. We can't have people invading us. And Morocco said, you're right. Now, whether they said you're right because Spain leaned on them and said, look, we're giving a lot of work to your crop pickers in Andalusia every year. And by the way, we're buying all your tomatoes and your strawberries when ours run out and your green beans. And we don't want to affect that, do we? Anyway, the Moroccan authorities turned out everything went quiet because there were strong people there doing strong things. Right, cast your mind forward to the situation between, think France, Britain and France. We
Yeah.
have paid the French, not negotiated with them, not put the elbow in and say, look, we're going to do this a la Trump with our trade with you unless you sort yourselves out. We've paid them £1 billion for
Oh,
them
that's
to stand
terrible.
there and help people into the small boats, now the big boats.
I
Why?
mean,
I shall tell you why. It's very simple. Number one, you've got a Labour government and other governments were also left wing that call themselves conservative that wanted to go back into Europe. And you don't upset your people when you want to go back to Europe. That's how the French are getting away with it. So it's European Brexit again coming back. We should be hot on their tails and say, right, the Navy's in.
well,
Ask
that's
reform
absolutely
what to do.
right. Absolutely right. We don't have a boat though, do we? That's the trouble. Do we have a floating ship, or should we all be out there in our rowing boats? I mean,
No, we got
the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how they can justify it, why they just don't stop paying the French, because what have they done? They
because
haven't
they
done
want to
anything.
go back into Europe. It's as simple as that.
We
And
haven't voted for it again. We
uh,
haven't voted for migrants. We're okay with people coming in from war zones like Ukraine. That's different. But we have not voted for this. And this is what I was saying this morning. The government has a fiduciary duty of care to the people that it's governing and has a responsibility to keep us safe. They're doing the polar opposite. So how do you force an election? That's what I say. That's how do you force an election to get them out?
it's coming, I think, earlier maybe than people realise. Don't know. If I did, I'd be a very rich man. But let me tell you that certain other parties, Conservative and Reform, are now declaring what they would do.
Mm,
Now, you don't do that halfway through an electoral term of
no,
5 years.
no, that's true.
because
That's
you're
true.
putting all your cards on your table early.
Mm. That's
But they've
true.
started doing it, which makes
Mm.
me feel maybe Andy will call an early election. But thinking of Andy, I'm thinking of a third thing called the rape gangs, the Muslim rape gangs, which he's known about all the way
I
through.
know. I've said it for
And
years.
ask Maggie Oliver, she knows, and
Yeah, she
hopefully
knows. Yeah.
she will be on this channel very shortly.
Yeah, she's going to be on my channel as well. And I mean, I know. I mean, we've known about it. I've known Maggie a long time. We've known about it, and I've been called racist. It's true. It's and Andy Burnham knew. He knew, as did Sadiq Khan, as did Starmer, and they should all be rounded up, and they should be in court, and they should be charged for being complicit. And that's what we don't do in this country. We don't make examples of people that have done the wrong thing. I mean, it's outrageous.
Have you
I just, oh, I mean, when he goes around calling, we're going to be the government of hope. Good Lord, I gave up on that one years ago.
Yeah, when you're fighting the establishment, Nigel
Oh,
Farage realizes he's got the target on his back, and this is not a political statement, but good luck to him. He's at
mm.
least a man of courage, whether
Well,
he's right or
exactly
wrong.
right. Exactly right. As is, let me just say, I don't know if you saw in the news, I think it's dreadful that Patrick Christie and his wife and baby
It's
were
graceful.
ordered to get out of his
Yeah,
house or wherever he lives in the middle of the night on Sunday because there were death threats against him. I mean, he is very brave. He goes into the different camps and is very outspoken. And I've said for quite some time, he's very lucky that he hasn't been got at. He shouldn't be,
he's had
but
us
he has.
enough threats. I know threats
It's
of harm and
terrible. They're
prison.
frightening. It must be frightening. And he's just doing a very good job for media. He was on again last night, so all credit to Patrick. It can't be easy. Can't be
No,
easy right now.
Patrick is a nice guy, and
He is. He is.
yeah,
As is Emily. They're a lovely family.
yeah. Okay, that's we've had enough bombshells today. There's more to come, but can I say what I said the other day, basically, and I stand by it. Um, I'm not interested in all these meetings, Mr. Burnham, you're having up and down the country.
Absolutely right.
I'm not going to listen to a word you
Nor me.
say because
Nor
you've
me.
been sussed. And if you stop these boats coming over, because now we know what's behind it, you can. The Moroccans and the Spanish have shown you you can. And then I will start listening to you. Until then, end of.
I also made a. I certainly made a big push for people to read up on the Fabian Society as
Yeah,
well, and
it's
said
all
this,
part
what
of
we're
it.
going through in Britain is
Yeah.
straight out of their playlist. So let's ring up Andy Burnham and say, well, we hope.
Yes. And if you
Kind
want
of
to do
hoping
the
you, mate.
if you want to do the full sus, go to 1929 when cultural Marxism was invented.
Yes.
Because there again, you've got a sister to the dreaded Fabians, and
Mm,
that's the pincer movement. That, together with certain other interesting people that are invading our country,
yes.
not necessarily in small boats, but illegal
But
immigrants.
they're coming in on the lorries as well. They keep forgetting about the lorries and coming in at the ports. They don't seem to account for those, funnily enough.
Funny enough, we've got to go. Sorry, there's no good news. Sorry, there's no foodie. But at least we've covered some stuff. As long as it makes us think and maybe wake up, folks.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You got to wake up, smell the coffee, and look down the track.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't know whether to smell the coffee. I don't drink coffee. Doesn't suit
Uh,
me. But
Do
you
you
do.
not?
No,
I
in
do,
Spain
yeah.
it's for buttons here. And there again. It can be good for you. We've covered that in another program.
Yeah.
We shall go and we'll
All
see you
right.
very
See you
shortly.
soon. See you soon. Bye.